Hello, everyone. Are you struggling to get an offer accepted on that home that you've dreamed about? Well, today we are going to talk about how to make a strong offer in a seller's market. So stay tuned. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video as we'll be sharing a couple of additional tips. And remember, make sure you hit the like button and the share button as we will be continuing to provide additional content going forward. Hello everyone, I am Terry and I'm a realtor here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Today I will be discussing with you 4 tips on how to make a strong offer in a seller's market. Tip number 1 is you've got to understand that there are multiple offers because we are in a seller's market. So all the buyers are competing to win that dream home. The first thing that I think everyone should consider doing is having their real estate professional reach out to the listing agent. This will be key. What you want to say, what your agent will want to say is, I have a fully qualified, ready to close buyer, and they can close immediately. But what they wanted me to ask is, what is important to your seller? They may or may not respond. But the good news is if you get a response, then you can go back and put those responses into the offer if it makes sense to your buyer. Some of those responses could be an opportunity to rent back at no charge because they're looking for their home in this competitive market. It could be that you offer to pay their closing costs if this is appropriate in your state. There could be other ways that you could help this seller and make your offer stand out among all the others that are coming in. Tip number 2 is you want to make a clean and simple offer with no contingencies. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about it for a moment. One is, if you have a home to sell, the best thing to do is get that timed so that you have the ability to go ahead and not include that in the contingency to purchase your next home. Also, it's important that you're not asking for additional items in the home. So if there's something that you really like, then it's best not to ask for that and find a way to do that on your own. You can also look at waiving the appraisal contingency, not the appraisal itself, but the contingency. If you have enough cash available to cover any gaps in the appraisal, if for some reason the home doesn't appraise and you're able to make up the cash difference, then it would definitely be to your benefit to waive that appraisal contingency. Another thing that gives sellers confidence is if you put a large down payment on the home, meaning that gives them the security to know that you are financially stable and can go forward with the purchase. Also, another component that's big in the offer is the inspection. Now, it's important, I think, to have an inspection to make sure that there's no major issues with the home. But what you can do is you can waive the repairs. You can tell the seller you're doing the inspection for informational purposes, and it gives you the option to still get out of the contract, but you will not ask for any repairs. That makes it very clean and simple. And the final thing is, if at all possible, if you can pay cash. And even if you don't have the cash, I'll talk a little bit later on more tips after the video that will tell you a program that would allow you to do that. Tip number 3 is to consider using an escalation clause in your offer. What is an escalation clause? Well, it gives the buyer the ability to bid in predefined increments. You determine what those increments are that you're willing to go above the highest offer up to a maximum offer price. So let's look at an example. Let's say that you have a home on the market for $350,000 and you're willing to spend up to $360,000 for that home. Instead of starting at $360,000, we could write in the escalation clause that you're offering $350,000, but you're willing to go $1,000, for example, $1,100 over the highest offer. So if someone else bids $355,000, your offer would then become $356,100, up to $360,000. So if it goes over $360,000, then you are out of the process. So it protects you from going too high and only allows you to go up to what you're comfortable with. But of course, if the offers are lower, then you will pay lower. The other thing that we do to make sure you're safe is we ask the seller to provide proof that they had the higher offer. And you also want to use language that was configured or created by an attorney, so that would also make it very legal and sound if these are available in your state. Tip number 4, this one is pretty straightforward, and in the market that we're in today, most of the offers, if it's a good solid home and a great location, are going to go above asking price. So what we can do to make your offer more attractive, if you have some cash available to you, then what we would offer to do is cover the appraisal gap. So for example, we use the same home we talked about earlier, that's $350,000, and you're offering $360,000 in your offer price. Then what you can say in the offer that you will cover that appraisal gap. If it doesn't appraise for $350,000, we will cover the $10,000 gap as the buyer, so that we can move forward in purchasing that home. What we have to remember is appraisers are sometimes still behind, or the market is still not showing the comparables that indicate what the price of the home really could and should be. So if you're in that position of having extra cash and you feel comfortable that the home is worth the $360,000 in our example, then you can cover that appraisal gap, and that will make your offer stand out. Okay, now I wanted to talk to you about 2 additional tips that can help you win in a multiple offer situation. One of these tips is that companies now exist in the marketplace, very reputable, backed by the Better Business Bureau companies, that can turn your pre-approval, your solid financial position into a cash offer for a fee. One of the companies I'm familiar with charges 1%. The good news is that with that 1% fee, you are equal to a cash buyer. And how that works is they allow you to go through the inspection, and upon an approved inspection, and everything is good for both you and the company that turns your offer into cash, then you're guaranteed to close. You're guaranteed to get to closing. But up front, making that cash offer certainly puts you in a better position. If you'd like more information on that, feel free to comment below, and I'll be happy to share more details. Number 2 is to make sure you get a solid, approved local lender. When you make that offer, it's important to listing agents that they know they can feel good about you moving forward to closing. A lot of things can impact that. One is getting the appraisal done on time. So if they're familiar with the lender, the local lender, they'll feel better about the appraisal getting done in the required time frame that you put into your offer. Hope this helps, and I look forward to sharing great and more additional information in the future. I wish you all the luck out there, and hopefully these tips will help you to secure that home of your dreams. If you have any tips that you would like to share on how to get an offer accepted or make your offer stand out, please comment below. In addition, if you'd like to subscribe, hit the bell or hit the like. We're going to have great new content coming in the future. See you next time.